Hey folks, man from the past here, and no, I haven't changed my t-shirt in 3 days. I know, and I need to shave and all that good stuff. I just got to bring a few things up. Oklahoma just recently, within the last 72 hours, I think, did a test run. They pulled over 500 trucks coming into the state, and out of that 500 trucks, 25% were on the road illegally. And we're not talking, their hours of service are wrong or their logs are wrong. No, they're illegally driving with bogus commercial driver's licenses. I have no problem with that. Oklahoma will confiscate those vehicles and put them up for state auction. Good. Give that to an American or legitimate truck driver who did all the right things. It's got a real CDL from a real trucking school. And, put it up on state auction. And no, the chameleon carriers or chameleon trucking companies aren't getting them back. And they're out of pocket. What you're having happen there is what a chameleon company is, a chameleon trucking company. You've seen them out on the road. You didn't even know it, folks. You'll look at a big rig, and you'll see on the side of the cab a piece of paper about 2 feet wide and 1 foot tall, and it's got a Department of Transportation number and some kind of name on it, like fly-by-night carriers and all that good stuff. Not all of them are illegitimate, but I can pretty much guarantee that majority of them are. And what they're doing is their company gets put out of operation. They go in and they get a new DOT number, rename their company, and slap a new piece of paper on the side of the truck, and they're right back out on the road. Now, smaller trucks, not 18-wheelers, but if you see small dually trucks carrying cars and stuff, a lot of those guys might have paper on them, and they might just be new. They just didn't want to paint the truck. They get pulled over too. They're still a commercial carrier. But on the big boys, if you see stuff like that, that's sort of a red flag. Two, another red flag. They don't know what following distance is. And by that I mean they will be doing 75, 80 miles an hour in various areas of the country in the fast lane. And they'll be right on the butt in the fast lane on passenger cars and other trucks. And they're dangerous. I mean, you need at least one truck length for every 10 miles an hour, technically. Okay, in some places it's 10 kilometers an hour. Of course, that rarely happens unless you're out west and all that. So you need to slow down and watch your interval. The general rule of thumb is 4 seconds interval, and a lot of the trucks can monitor that with radar. And yes, we know how fast you're going out there, folks, when you blow by us in a 65 mile an hour zone and you're doing 85. We can tell. We've got a radar. That said, I would like this to get out to Secretary of the Department of Transportation, Sean Duffy. Hey, sir, just a little idea. Do random checks for small amounts of time. Keep it mixed up, keep it rolling, and do random checks. You can do it at the fuel island in truck stops. You can do it in the parking lot. Just do a few random checks in and around various truck stops. You don't have to stay at one all day. Just do a few random checks. See if the people can read and write functional English, and check if they're squared away with their CEL. If a legitimate driver shouldn't have any problems with that. If he's doing something wrong, then he's going to be bitching and shit. And it's not going to slow you down any more than you would anywhere else. But we need to get these third world assholes who have no cultural basis for the driving culture. They don't have any education in the driving culture in the United States. And they're here. If they're here illegally, boot them the fuck out. They don't need to be on my roads. You come to my country, you need to speak American English, period, on a functional level. You need to be able to have a good discourse with law enforcement and with distribution centers and with your fellow truck drivers if you have a CB, and which is a great thing to have. That's it. When I go into a distribution center in Chicago and there are 10 frickin' languages on the wall, that tells you there's a goddamn problem. I don't read Russian. I don't read Chinese. I don't read Korean. I can nip through parts of Arabic, and I can read and write in German, okay? But what the hell? When I go to Germany, ich spreche ganz viel Deutsch. Menta ana rua i Saudia, ana terra Arabi, ana hawel Arabi kelam. I could go on and on. If I'm in a Spanish-speaking country, yo hablamos muy más español. But you come to my country, and you're driving a truck, you better speak American English, or its equivalent, British English or Canadian English, or maybe even Aussie. But random checks at truck stops, even including the fuel islands, are not going to bother a legitimate driver. Just do a few in various truck stops, do a little route. Okay, we checked a few here. Oh, we got one guy here. He's illegal. Go to the next one, okay? Have no problems knocking on the door in the middle of the night with a suspect, possibly chameleon carrier, and knock on their door and do a courtesy inspection. You might be surprised. And also, for the great state of Texas, whom I happen to have property I love, I've got property off U.S. Highway 287 in the Childress, and I'm telling you, get Department of Public Safety and the Texas Department of Transportation, you might want to start looking around on 287 and 87 going into Texas, folks, because there's a lot of quote-unquote suspect carriers that are running in there, and they're trying to get in through the back door to get down into Fort Worth and Dallas and on into 35. And Texas has been very lenient when it comes to weigh stations. I think there's only like 2 or 3 active weigh stations. But as a possible remedy, maybe activate all your weigh stations and do courtesy inspections at those weigh stations, especially the ones coming in from the west and the north. Yeah, of course, the south as well. And I really hope Secretary Duffy hears this message. Well, that's all I got for you, folks. Remember, you go into a truck stop and you see trucks piled up. Most of those guys are coming in late. They're probably beyond hours of service, and they're parking in no parking areas because they don't know how to do trip planning, and they're not part of the American truck culture. I just drive just like I do in Delhi. No, you can't do that here. Not in my country. When I go to everybody else's country, I try to respect their culture. You come to my country and try to get on my roads, and you don't respect my culture. You can't even speak English. You need to get the fuck off my roads and quit endangering my grandkids and all my other friends and relatives across this great country. All right, that's all I got for you, folks. This is Man from the Past, a little bit wired up because I think it was great what Oklahoma did, and I hope other states follow suit. Y'all have a blessed day now, and be careful out there.